What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Right now, me and Mike are on a mission. We are about to head to the lockup so I can grab the RB20 for the Cefiro. Alright, mate, let's go. We got the 20DET in the back of Mike's van here. Got a ratchet strap down, and as Oaks and crew would say, that ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, nah, it's not going anywhere.
It's a new day now. Got the RB20 in the garage here, and today I'm going to be stripping this thing down. Before I get into that, I really need to do something about this workbench because it is an absolute state. Over the last week and a bit, with working on Mike's Corolla and with me doing other things out there, it's become a bit of a mess. Since I'm going to be pulling this down, I need quite a bit of space to lay everything out, and I don't have any space to lay anything out on here. Also, this kind of messiness is a recipe for losing bolts and things like that, which when it comes to a motor, you really don't want to be missing stuff. It's been like an hour and a half on now, and the workbench actually arguably looks worse, but I've been doing a lot. I've pulled a lot of crap. There's a lot of stuff up there in the roof across beams that I've pulled down, rearranged a whole bunch of stuff up here. Some of this stuff was over here, so I've reorganized it up there so it's out of the way. Reorganized a bunch of parts in here, and a few of you will remember that there was a shit ton of parts just sitting on the ground over here. I've organized all of those. But before we continue on with any of this, we're actually gonna go for a bit of a boost in Mike's car, and there's been some revelations, I guess that's the right word, I don't know, but some things have happened since last night, and we'll put you then on them in a second. Hello, Mike. So what happened?
The timing mark that it had on the crank was wrong. You had to remark it, and then I'm 100% certain it's in time now, but I don't know if it's fixed or not, so we're just figuring that out now.
Yep, so we're gonna go for a ride, and hopefully we get some decent pulls if it works. So we've been around the block, and car's warmed up now. Mike's laid into it, not crazy, but steadily, and it's so far it seems all right.
Yeah, so it's way peppier now. Like, it feels like I remember it feeling. Yeah, I don't want to speak too soon, but yeah, it feels like it was before, so hopefully it is.
Well, we'll find out in about 5 seconds. We'll do a pull. Definitely say it driving a hell of a lot better than it did yesterday. Yeah, I'm happy leaving it like that. Well, I call that a win. You're a happy boy, aren't you?
Yeah. Like, I still want to get some Ks on it and stuff and know for sure, but currently it's running better than it used to. Maybe not like as smooth as it was, but it definitely feels like it ramps harder up top.
So what was the issue?
So basically what was happening is you have two marks here, this one here and this one here. So you set it to this mark here. And then this one here is, I forget what it is, but it's like total advance or something. Now what was happening is this one here. So I re-twinked these ones here because you couldn't see them. And somebody's put a twink mark here, which I thought was the timing mark that you're supposed to time it off. And it's not.
It's not.
So what was happening is I was setting it perfectly on the cover, but I was setting it to the wrong mark. So it was like crazy advanced. Which means you had hard starting, bogginess,
and it explains
runs hot.
A higher noise up top.
Yep.
Well, noise up top,
yes,
which you
that was gone.
Initially thought was like a run bearing.
Yep. So it had a, how would you, like a tack,
so like, yeah,
like someone like if you had a ratchet and like tapped it on the cover, that's what it sounded like. And I was super sketched out, and then it all made sense. Like, it was because it was so far advanced, it was pinging or detonating up top, which obviously isn't good, but. It's everyone I've talked to said it's only drove around the block, so it should be fine. And yeah, now it's running mint, so.
Fucking A, Stingray.
Yep.
I am finally freaking finished cleaning up this garage, and I'm happy I've done it, but this took so much longer than I was anticipating it taking. Initially, I was just going to be cleaning up the workbench and that was going to be it, but it turned into pretty much rearranging a lot of this garage. So I've got a bunch of parts up here on these boards now as well, and yeah, there's completely nothing under the S14 anymore, which is good because it's a ghost. Yeah, it just looks good because there's nothing under it. It looks way less cluttered in here. So yeah, I'm happy, but now we're gonna jump into tearing this apart. So first off, I'm gonna pretty much strip it down to a long block. So I'll take the intake off, cams, water pump, oil pump, and then once I got all that off, then we'll get the covers off, and then we'll take the cams out, head off, and start disassembling the bottom end. Now, a few of you will remember this motor that we did build this about a year ago, and the reason why I'm tearing it back down now before I put it in the Cefiro is, one, it was the first motor that I built. I did build it with someone who knew what they were doing, but I figured I'd tear it down anyway while I've got the chance, give it all a clean and put it back together. But the other reason is I'm a dumbass and I did things like this. I left that open. There were no half moons in the back here, and the oil return for the turbo I left open, along with the exhaust and intake ports. If you build a motor, well, not even build a motor, if you have a motor, you need to cover everything. Oh, and also the injector holes are open. On the 25, I did this, covered every facet so nothing can actually get into the motor. But with this one, I was a dumbass and didn't do that. So because this has had all the machine work done, I figured I would strip it all down now, give it a clean, reassemble it, and we should be good to go. I've got the motor stripped down to a long block, so I took the intake off, took the water pump off, took the cam gears off, and took the valve covers off. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start taking these cams out. A lot of you will probably already know this, but you've got to be very careful when you go to take cams out because you will always have lobes that are pushing down on the valves, which means that there's resistance on the cam. So on this cam, by the looks of it, it's these two lobes here that are pushing down. So if I was to loosen off these here, because they're pushing against that and these ones are being held down, if I was to take off these three caps, it would literally snap the cam in half. You got to go all along them and you got to do them bit by bit, because otherwise, yeah, you snap a cam. I have never done it. I have seen mates do it, and I have heard plenty of people doing it before. So yeah, gotta be real careful with that. Cams are out. All the caps are laid out here. These have to go back in the same spot, but they're pretty easy to tell where they go. The exhaust side has an E on it, and they're also numbered, and then the intake side has an I on it. So yeah, can't really mix those up. But now I'm going to take the lifters out. And these you do have to make sure that you put back in the same spot, so lay them out in a way that you know you're going to be able to do it. So for me, I'm going to take each lifter out and I'm just going to put them, all the exhaust ones on this side, all the intake ones on that side, and we'll keep them in the order that they go. Get yourself a little magnet and make life so much easier. So with all the lifters out, it's time to take the head off. Now, usually you do not want to use a ratchet because the amount of tension that these head bolts are under could break one of these. I've never done it. I've never actually used one of these before. You should use a power bar, but I don't actually have one. With taking the head off, you want to do it in the reverse that you would put it on. So when you put it on, you start in the middle, work your way out. When you're taking it off, you start out and work your way in. This would also be a lot easier with the power bar. Now with the head bolts out, it's literally just gonna lift off like that. You see just like little bits and dust and stuff that are in here that wouldn't actually have been too big of an issue really, but yeah, no, it's good to still tear this down and clean it up anyway, and just yeah, make sure that everything is clean, 100% good to go, because The last thing I want to do is, I've spent quite a bit of money on this motor getting it to this point, even though I didn't end up using it in the drift car. We ended up using the 25 there. I did put a bit of money into getting this thing already, all the machine work and stuff, so it'd be a shame to throw it all together and, I don't know, have something go wrong just because, yeah, I was dumb and didn't take the time to just strip it down quickly and give it a refresh. But now that we got the long block like this, I'm now going to flip it up and we'll take the sump off and, yeah, start taking the pistons out. And then, yeah, once the sump's off, then I can take the oil pump off as well. Actually, we should take that gear off. Now, if you've seen my previous engine teardown videos, these things can be an absolute freaking nightmare to get off. On, I think it was, actually, yeah, it was this motor where the crank cog was an absolute nightmare to get off. Like, we smashed it, bashed it, heated it up, absolutely ruined it to try and get it off. But the crank cog that was on the RB25 that actually originally came out of the Cefiro that this motor is now going into, that one came off like a breeze. So I don't know, some can be cunty, some are good. Mike's car's back in, we got beers, Mike's back too.
I'm so happy now.
Yeah, now that it runs good.
And even like just sitting out there for 3 hours, 4 hours, started up fucking first pop.
Yeah, while I've been slaving away in here, Mike's been out.
I've been tossing with the boys. Big fucking circle toss.
Big frisbee golf guy now, eh?
Yeah. That's quite fun. We'll just go down there with like a bag of beers and a UE boom or whatever.
Yeah. And it actually doesn't sound too bad. I played frisbee golf when I was like in, I think, intermediate or something.
I've never done it before, right?
Actual?
Yeah.
No, I used to love it.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
It's quite fun.
Right, now I'm going to finish off tearing this down. This is, the hard part's pretty much over. This is all pretty straightforward stuff now. All I'm going to do, take the oil pickup off, take each piston out, and then we can take the cradle off and then the crank out. And then that will be us done for tonight and for this video. Now I'm going to pass it off to my newly appointed cameraman.
Let's go. I got some hectic lens flares going on.
Okay.
Some hectic lens flares going on.
Oh, from the lights.
So cinematic.
Cool. This is a good thing to do. What's the movie Happy Gilmore? It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Unless you're like ancient like me and it hurts.
I've actually realised I should probably take the front and rear fucking plates off first. That'd probably be a good thing to do, wouldn't it?
The first one went straight in the hole. Eh?
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Fuck!
Like a whole fucking no net, eh? Straight in there.
Yep. There we go. Now, boys, get a load of this collar. That is glorious. That is a must do with any RB. So as I said, this already has been rebuilt, and when I did rebuild it, I did the collar. If you're rebuilding a motor and you don't do a collar, you're wasting your time.
I mean, you could probably have fun for like half an hour.
Now, you'd be able to have fun, you just got to stay the fuck away from the limiter. I mean, it's like a stock RB. Like, you can smash the limiter all you want, but there's gonna come a day when it's gonna bite you. And it's not if, it's when. Someone want to sponsor me some ratchet spanners, that would be good.
Yeah, good.
Last one. Oh, yeah, it has to be the cuntiest one, doesn't it? Actually, fuck it, you know what? Oh, for fuck's sake, I could have been using this the whole
stuff
time.
like that. People will be screaming it out in the comments, but you just, when you're the one doing it, you just don't think of it.
Yeah. That's exactly right, yeah.
Let the man struggle.
I could have made this one job so much easier on myself. Now, as with most things on an engine, you want the bolts to go back where they came from. I don't think people realise, but cranks are fucking heavy. Jeez, I'm gonna have fun cleaning all this crap.
You got 5% battery left.
Fucking A, good thing we're almost done.
Fucking dial's pretty quick, eh?
What's that?
Dial's pretty quick. We had like 50 something before.
GoPro batteries are not that good.
Fuck, you might have to get yourself a vlogging camera soon, eh?
I've thought about it, but I like the GoPro. I like the idea of touching the GoPro with these hands.
Yeah,
I feel like if I got a fancy vlog camera.
Yeah. Especially because like even like your phone's like half good enough to do it anyway now.
I did like my first 100 videos on my phone.
Yeah.
Touching my phone with these hands is why my speaker and my microphone are fucked on it. Because they're just...
rapey hands.
Yeah, they're just covered in oil and grease and dirt and fucking you name it, it's got it.
Oh, it says 0 now, but it's still rolling.
And that will be it for this video, guys. Finished up the other night and we got the entire engine completely stripped down. Got all the head stuff laid out here, pistons and rods are out. Now tonight as I'm filming, tonight as I'm filming this, I am going to start cleaning up all of the pistons, the crank, clean the block, scrape all this crap off, and start assembling the bottom end back together. And then once the bottom end's back together, I can then chuck the head on. I've got a bunch of new parts that I picked up today. Picked up some gaskets, head bolts, and a new turbo. So this is the turbo that I am going to be running on this car. This is just a China T3 T4. This is nothing fancy. It's an Osaka turbo, so it hopefully is going to hold together and not disintegrate on me. I was debating whether or not to use the Garrett turbo that I had brought for the 25DET in the S14. Would be a sick turbo to use, but I feel because it is a larger turbo, it's going to be a bit too laggy on the 20, so I decided to not use that and to buy another turbo. I've used a turbo like this before and didn't have any issues with it, but I know the China turbos are pretty hit and miss, so yeah, let's hope it doesn't grenade itself and I've rebuilt this motor for no reason. Anyway, that'll be it for this one, guys. Cheers for watching. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.